So if that's okay, I was going to suggest we start a little bit differently. And I'm going to put Pablo on the spot if that's okay. Pablo, would it be okay if you started telling us a little bit about the sister project that we have and how it's going to connect with NBSOIL? In the meantime, we'll solve all the technical problems, and then we'll be able to make a smooth transition into why NBSOIL, why it's relevant for the soil mission, and then continue into the academy almost seamlessly. So if you could take over, that would be amazing. We
Yeah.
can see your screen. If you could
Okay.
put it in full screen, that would be brilliant.
Good morning. Of course, there's no problem. I am trying to share my screen full screen.
And
So I
that's
guess that could
perfect.
you see it? Could you see full screen right now yet?
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so let's go. Good morning, and thank you on behalf of NBSOIL for inviting us today to this NBSOIL Academy kickoff. I'm going to share with you a short presentation just to give you an overview of what is NBSOIL. I have many slides. I will go fast right to the point, but I think you will have available the whole presentation. So let's go. For setting the scene, you already know at this point what the mission soil is. I won't stop here. Just to mention that the Prep Soil is one of the very first projects of the soil mission calls, and its aim is to facilitate the deployment of the mission itself in these first steps. In the same way, we already know that we are here in summary because the European Commission wants 100 living labs and lighthouses by 2030. And let's go to talk about the project. General data about the project. What's Prep Soil? Well, Prep Soil is a coordination and support action. It's a CSA project. It brings together 19 partners from 12 countries. And it's a 3 year project coordinated by the Harvard University in Denmark. I'm obviously not the coordinator, but I'm here on behalf of my colleagues. And we'll see now the different project actions. Here you have just a flash slide to give you an overview of the consortium members, institutions, and distribution. And the PrepSol objective is to give support to the mission soil roadmap and its implementation plan. Therefore, it's a generic project which is touching many topics and is addressed at a wide range of stakeholders, from primary school students until researchers, industry, land managers. There's an important part dedicated to soil literacy. It means information, awareness, general public engagement, etc. It has also sanitation spaces for this. And then there are more specific actions and tools, which we are going to see quickly now. Here an overview of the prep selections for today. Probably there's a special interest on the point dedicated to the soil needs assessment, living labs and monitoring, and we'll see it. And before talking about the project activities, I tried to put it in context for today's forum. So this is a quick and non-formal matching just to try to give a preliminary identification of aspects where I think can be any kind of synergy between the PrepSol work and the NBSOIL Academy topics. Let's start with the soil needs assessment. Well, this is one of the already finished tasks in PrepSol dedicated to outlining an identification of soil health needs in European regions. It was carried out for representative regions and in different phases. First, we perform a documentary review, then exchanges with the stakeholders, regional face-to-face workshops and interviews. We follow the driver pressure state impact response methodology for 3 different types of soils, which is agricultural soil, urban and post-industrial, and natural and forestry. We don't have time today to go deep on the methodology. Here you are our 20 representative regions. 20 regions that were chosen, trying to make them as representative as possible for the whole European territory, different land uses, farming systems, north and south, balanced geographical distribution, etc. Face-to-face workshops were conducted in each one of the 20 representative regions. You have all the, sorry for the hurries, but you have all the information about this on the PrepSol website. And as for the results, there is a very long deliverable, which will be public as soon as our project officer considers it. There are also some papers in progress, and what there is available now is a small summary document, which is was published in November and presented at the European Mission Soil Week in Madrid. It is a basic document that includes poster format diagrams and summary of each one of the regions. All this information and links are available at the PrepSoil website, and I invite you to take a look. Well, talking about Living Labs, regarding Living Labs, as Advanced PrepSoil is one of the very first Mission Soil projects, and the 4 action lines that you can see below were proposed at that time. The first is as basic as contributing to conceptualize, making known, and putting the Living Labs in context. The second is to continue with the European mapping of initiatives with the potential to become Living Lab. The third is related to identifying possible inspiring business models for the operation of Living Labs. And the fourth is to provide tools for the knowledge transfer in Living Labs. So let's go on this point very briefly. Concerning the Living Lab concepts, I'm not going to stop much here. Here you are definition that you already know by heart now, probably. Even so, I have to say that the concept of Living Labs is still some tedious in some meanings, at least for me. Here you are the atlas or the interactive map of Living Labs. This is other of the PrepSoil tools. You probably already know it. Here, PrepSoil took over from the previous CSA project, SMEs, Soil Mission Support, and continued the work. PrepSoil reviewed and expanded the list. And now we're in a process of revalidation, refinement, and extending information. To do this, each potential Living Lab was contacted individually. There is also a self-registration form to nominate new potential Living Labs, lighthouses, or experimental sites. I invite you to check it and use it if you are interested. And work is being done also on a self-assessment tool to see to what extent a Living Lab meets the necessary criteria or what level of maturity they are in. What I always say, this map is not binding. Surely not every potential Living Lab is represented here, and probably not all the included will be Living Labs, but it can be very useful to see the current scenario, sites of interest for you, potential collaborators, etc. Well, very briefly, for the business models, the objective of this task is to identify and co-design different business models to ensure the sustainability of Living Labs and lighthouses in different land use types, including the smart finances idea. This is in progress. Inputs are being collected through various workshops organized by PrepSoil and in association with other soil mission projects such as soil values. There's other task, which is dedicated to provide a package of services with a set of recommendations to accelerate the adoption, maturity, and optimize the operation of Mission Soil. This is also in progress. The idea is to improve knowledge transfer and co-creation for Living Labs and lighthouses. Well, that's interesting. There's another PrepSoil action dedicated to soil health monitoring and indicators. Here, the objective is to identify needs in monitoring and to develop a training curriculum for capacity building. There's a first phase for gap and needs identification based on documentary review and interaction with different stakeholders, European Commission members, and the member states. Then, based on this feedback, we aim to elaborate a training curriculum to perform 4 pilot workshops, and finally, to propose a capacity building research to be used by the European Commission. The task, this task is led by Nia Tesik. The first step is ongoing, and I can see there's some synergies with the NBSOIL Academy, so we will be open, of course, for future exchange. Very briefly, here you are the link to the PrepSoil website. It is proposed as a one-stop shop platform for all the information, resources, and interaction for the project. I invite you to visit it and join in the newsletter if you're interested. Most of the information I am advancing today is available and updated there. Finally, I made a quick final mix of other project activities and cross-cutting actions. Firstly, as I said, PrepSoil has an important part dedicated to everything that the Commission puts under the umbrella of soil literacy. There are 2 main actions. There's one task dedicated to communities of practice, which involves citizen awareness about the importance of healthy soils for communities and society in general. We have videos, interviews, the figure of the soil ambassador, etc. It's all on the web. I'll leave you the link there. And there's another task for informing society through education. Here, the main milestone was a call for schools and institutes for good teaching practices and healthy soils at the primary and secondary education level. There's also a knowledge hub. This is an open access online repository of different resources related to soil health. There are different documents in different languages from good practices, examples, policy briefs, video materials, experiments, publications. It is starting. You can consult it right now. There are not high volume of info at this step, but the idea is that it grows. Of course, you are welcome to contribute with resources, and you can do it through the same website. And finally, there is also a mobile phone application ongoing. I can't give you too much information, but our colleagues are working on this, and it is expected to be released in the coming weeks. The idea with this is to provide an APP which, on one hand, provide direct access to some of the resources that are already available in the PrepSoil website, and on the other hand, includes a section of what we call soil quests. And these soil quests will allow interested external entities to interact with the users and to request inputs from the citizens. Well, finally, as recap and closing, here you are this illustration. It was done for the PrepSoil session at the European Mission Soil Week, which took place in Madrid last November. This event was organized by the European Commission, co-organized by PrepSoil, and facilitated and hosted by INIATESIC. And this picture will offer a good summary of the main PrepSoil features. As I said before, PrepSoil aim is to support overall the mission soil implementation, and therefore we are open to interact and collaborate with other soil mission projects, and of course with NBSOIL in the future. There's a common objective. That's all from my side. Thank you very much for your attention. You have my contact here in case you need it, and I think we'll have time for any question or further discussion later on. I invite you again to visit the PrepSoil website, and here you are all the project interaction links. So thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you so much, Pablo. I think I'm going to pass to Carlin to keep on talking from now onwards as our official Soil Association head. But just again, to reiterate to everyone that the chat, feel free to present yourselves. We're already seeing people from lots of parts. Also, if you want to share any resources or anything there, feel free. There's lots of cool people there, so they can probably have interesting information. And as Pablo mentioned, all the information about PrepSoil will also be shared in a follow-up email. So you can ask any questions now, but if you have one later on, feel free as well. We'll give you the information. Now, from now on, officially, Carolyn, you're in charge of this boat. Go ahead.
Great. Thanks, Anna. Morning, everyone. I'm just wondering, is Grzegorz here to present, or?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
We're back to
perfect.
normal sort of like transmissions.
Okay, great. So I'd just like to introduce Grzegorz from IUNG, and he's going to give us a brief introduction on the NBSOIL's project and the role of soil advisors. So over to you, Grzegorz.
Oh, thank you. Apologies for some technical problems today joining the webinar. So I'm very glad that we are here in that big group to present NBSOIL Academy. I'm Grzegorz, I'm coordinator of NBSOIL project. I work at the Institute of Soil Science and Plant Cultivation, State Research Institute in Poland, in Puławy, Poland. So in our project, we link soil health, nature-based solutions, and soil advisory. May I have next slide, please? Okay, thank you. So, of course, there are existing very efficient advisory services across Europe, but they are not focused, not purely focused in general on soil health. So we need purely focused soil advisory services. And who are soil advisors? These are agents who assist clients in decision making, focus on soil health. And we want to address all soils, because all soils are very important for functioning of entire environment, our environmental stability, our safety, and food security. So agriculture, post-industrial soils that need remediation, forest management, and urban spatial development. Next, please. So why we need soil advisors, even in agriculture, where where advisory services are very frequent and work in agriculture for years. So we need to transfer knowledge how to activate the natural potential of soil, how to regenerate soil, how to take care of soil health and still make benefit from farming, how to adapt to nature-based solutions into given conditions in that part of Europe. In industry, for industrial soils, how to use concept of soil health, not only to reduce the contaminant level, but to take care about soil functioning as a whole. It is very important in urban areas. Maybe in that area, soil advisory is really starting. So we need to transfer knowledge on how to use soil management, how to properly use soil to create better living conditions in cities, air quality, how to combat temperature extremes, how to improve mental well-being through soil management, and to finally prioritize soil care in spatial planning. There are also some challenges in forest management, for example, connected to how to diversify forest and have benefits in carbon stocks, for example. Next, please. So this is a project, NBSOIL Nature-Based Solutions for Soil Management. We were happy to get this project in the call Next Generation of Soil Advisors. This is 4-year project, 48 months. So we coordinate this project, and there are 16 partners, and this is really a pleasure to work with this fantastic group of people, of partners with a lot of competence and diverse competence. So, and the goal of the project is to co-create and test the learning pathway for existing and aspiring soil advisors. And the central point of this is a Soil Academy, which we would like to present you today. And very important is that the development of this academy is through co-creation process. So we co-create this with stakeholders, experts, but also connecting to other soil mission projects. Next, please. So this is the structure of our project, a work package dedicated to NBSOIL Academy, of course, in the central part of the work plan. And this package, this academy is fed by other work packages, knowledge base, so integration of existing knowledge, soil and NBS, which is connected to test areas across Europe that provide data, that provide good examples, but also field visits for the academy. There is a part dedicated to digital tools, soil sensing, because this must be also a part of modern soil advisory. This is a part dedicated to business models and policy implementation, which is also very important. Next, please. And we focus on the group of quite broad categories of nature-based solutions or practices that are aimed at and stimulation of some natural processes and natural potential of soil. Organic fertilizers from locally available biowaste, because we want to use that potential, that carbon, that nutrients that already exist in bioeconomy and in the loop. Cover crops, but this is also broad category that also involves reduced tillage, agroforestry, intercropping, then paludiculture, which is dedicated to organic soils, forest diversification, bioremediation, dedicated to industrial and post-industrial, but also urban soils, and blue-green infrastructure for urban and peri-urban areas. Next, please. Test areas are very important. As I said, there are also field visits. So, when joined with connected to academy, there will be a calendar of field visits across Europe when you can see good examples and to talk to land managers, farmers. These are just some examples representing different land use types. Next, please. And finally, a kind of story of our project. So we met in December 2022, first online, then we had first physical meeting in Puławy, where our institute is located, and we discussed our work plan and a bit celebrated, but also defined what would be the ingredients and shape of our NBSOIL cake. Then we clustered with other projects, with the whole soil mission, which is very important. We cannot produce all information shared via Soil Academy by ourselves, but we want to also use the knowledge developed or integrated in other soil mission projects. There were some meetings, there were some visits where those good soil management practices exist, and finally we got to the moment we are now. So starting the Soil Academy soon, and that's why we meet today, and we want to present how the academy would look like and how they would operate. So thank you and enjoy this webinar today.
That's great, thanks, Grzegorz. So we enables us to keep to time, I'll just move swiftly on. So I'd just like to introduce Maria Lucia from DJ Agri. She's just going to take us through mission soil from a policy perspective. So if I can introduce Maria Lucia, if she's there.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, morning. So over to you.
Thank you. Let me just share my presentation real quick.
Perfect.
Okay, you can see it in presentation mode.
Thing and everything, yes.
Perfect. Well, first of all, good morning, everyone. Thank you to Grzegorz and all the consortium partners for inviting me to today's event. I'm very happy to be here for the launch of the NBSOIL Academy. And thank you to everyone being present today. Very happy to see such a big crowd interested in this topic. I'm Maria Luisa Dal Pos, and I'm working at the European Commission in the Directorate General for Agriculture and Rural Development, DG Agri, and I'm working specifically in the Unit for Research and Innovation. So I'm the policy officer following this project from the policy DG. And in our unit, we are part of the Mission Soil Secretariat. And today, very quickly, I would like to present to you what is the Mission Soil, a soil deal for Europe. So first of all, the missions are created under Horizon Europe, the program for research and innovation of the European Union, to address major societal challenges. and with the aim to have a strong visibility and impact. What does it mean, mission? Mission is a portfolio of actions across different disciplines that are intended to aim inspirational and measurable goals within a set time frame, and so then to have an impact on society and policy making. As you can see under Horizon Europe, there have been defined 5 mission areas, and ours is the Soil Deal for Europe. Why soil has been identified as a very important aspect, such as now it's become a priority for the European Commission. After some analysis from our experts, it has been found that over 60% of soils in Europe are unhealthy. Thus, they are not able to deliver vital ecosystem services. And as I guess you all know, healthy soils are needed for producing food, hosting biodiversity, cycling nutrients, purifying regulated water, etc. So it is clear that the role of our soils, sorry, I move to the next one, are key to provide food and these ecosystem services. And this is where it comes in the mission soil, so which is needed also for the success of the other missions. So for example, it will be supporting clean oceans, the climate neutral cities, climate resilient regions, and as well the prevention of cancer if we are eating good and healthy food. So the challenges that the mission soil is going to address are the following. We have a knowledge practice divide. So knowledge regarding sustainable soil management is not sufficiently applied in practice. Then also we would like that more knowledge and data are available on biodiversity, on contamination, meaning pesticide, nutrients, on carbon farming, on waste management. And also then in EU, the soil monitoring at the moment is not very harmonized. So we would like to undertake it in a more systematic way. And also a 4th point is to increase soil literacy, so the awareness of the entire society about the importance of soil. And the mission soil is then this transdisciplinarity, cross-sectoral and real-life testing approach to soil management. And as it has already been highlighted before, it will address all land uses. So not only agriculture, but also forestry, urban, industrial. Voilà. In this slide, you can see how the mission soil, it's part of a robust framework for soil protection. So at the moment in Europe, we don't have a legislation protecting soil health. There is at the moment a proposal, the Soil Monitoring Directive, which is part of the policy side. That is, at the moment, before that, we had only a soil strategy and different type of communications and strategies. Coming from the farm to fork strategy, so we have the EU biodiversity, the climate adaptation, forest, zero pollution action plan, also in the long-term vision for rural areas. And in all these strategies, there are some aspects that are touching upon the protection and restoration of soil health. And then in the law, I will talk a little bit later. Then we have also the aspect of the long-term and data knowledge hub that is now being developed by the EU Soil Observatory with the GRC, the Joint Research Center of the European Commission, which include the EU soil dashboard. And they produce this dashboard where you can see exactly what is the amount of soil health, and the different figures are available there. And there, indeed, they have confirmed the data of almost 61% of soils unhealthy in all across European regions. And then the third part of this framework is the Soil Deal for Europe mission, which is the tool for implementation, engagement, and also leveraging resources. Here, I would like to talk to you a little bit about the Directive on Soil Monitoring and Resilience, which is currently being discussed between Parliament and Council. And this proposal is the first ever EU legislation specifically on soils that aims to provide an harmonized definition of soil health and put a place of comprehensive and coherent monitoring framework, and also foster sustainable soil management practices and in many different sites. And the mission soil is a key instrument for the implementation of the directive. Already it has been key for the definition of the preparation of the proposal. And then once the proposal will be adopted, it will be key for implementing the harmonization, the monitoring framework, to provide example sustainable soil management that have been worked in our projects, etc. So as said also at the beginning by Pablo, the main goal of the mission soil is to have 100 living labs and lighthouses to lead the transition toward healthy soils by 2030. Backed up to this main goal, we have 8 specific objectives, particularly like reduce desertification, prevent erosion, conserve and increase soil carbon stocks, until the 8th one, that is improve soil literacy in society. And all these objectives, as said, they all apply to any kind of land use and all territories, and they are also relevant for a range of different sectors. If you are wondering how the mission works in practice, it works on 4 building blocks. We have a part dedicated to research and innovation, a part dedicated to living labs and lighthouses, and one in soil monitoring, and the 4th one on soil literacy, communication, and citizen engagement. Especially this 4th building block on soil literacy, it's where NBSOIL it's really helping us to implement these actions. And also now I would like to explain a little bit more about the living labs and lighthouses, which are the main vehicle for addressing the diversity of conditions and also to generate locally adapted solutions. And living labs are indeed at the core of the mission because they can empower the transition to healthy soils, since they have the potential to accelerate and scale up the solutions and the uptaking of these solutions that they are worked in our research and innovation projects, but all the activities of 4 building blocks really reunite in this tool. Living labs are sites of experimentation, which means real-life sites that could be in rural or urban areas, in which people from different sectors and backgrounds, so any kind of stakeholders and actors, experiment their solutions in a very co-creative way. Each living lab is composed by a group of different sites. So it could be a farm, could be a forest, a urban green area. And they are all working together at regional and sub-regional level. So for example, in this picture, you can see that one project of living labs, it has 5 living labs itself. And then lighthouses are the site for demonstrations of those solutions. So they are really showcasing good practices, good examples of what it means to have a good site where sustainable practices are put indeed in practice. And before, in the first 2 years, the mission soil has been launched in 2021. First 2 years, we really worked on creating a structure to support and prepare for the living labs. And now, starting from 2023, we have been launched the first call, and it will be a gradual establishment of the network that will reach 100 living labs and even more. For what is concerned the research program, so far, as you can see here, we've invested 320 million euros with the work programs 21-23. And now the call for proposals for the 2024 calls are currently open with a budget of 134.5 million euros. So for anyone interested, the calls are open till since the 8th of May, and they will close on the 8th of October 2024. So, which means that new projects will start soon running. We have already 29 ongoing projects with around 60 participants. Then this year, in 2024, 19 more projects will start, including the first 25 living labs, as just mentioned. And this is the situation of all the projects, and NBSOIL is part of them. So what's the link of the mission, why we wanted to have to fund this kind of project? As you could have understand, the mission soil has a clear role in closing this knowledge practice divide. And we have identified a gap, which is the lack of knowledge and of advice, which is tailored for land managers and landowners on locally adapted practices that could maintain and or restore soil health. So we launched a call for proposals, and NBSOIL is now already started to work on promote the uptake of innovations for sustainable land, promoting both emergence of new soil advisors figures, but also strengthening the skills of the existing advisors. And this will also it's connected to the fourth building block of really engaging with society, improving soil literacy and communication. It's really a key project for the achievement of the overall goal of the mission itself. And now I would like just to call everyone to sign our Mission Soil Manifesto. It has been launched last year. It was a big milestone for us because it's really creating this manifesto, a community of people interested in soil health. So everyone can sign it, from individuals to legal entities. It can be regional, local public authorities, private organization, public ones, philanthropic organization, schools, universities. Everyone is really welcome to demonstrate their interest for soil health and to really take action for protecting soils, as this is a societal undertaking. So far, we almost reached 3,000 signatories, and of which the majority are individuals, but we have 15% of organizations, of which we have a good percentage of local and regional authorities, where it's really the actors that could take action to make difference on their own regional and local realities. So sign it. You will be able to, you can check it in our website or also scan the QR code here. And another useful piece of information that I wanted to share with you today, if you're interested to know more about the Mission Soil, our progress to date, and connect with any other actors that make part of our communities, that it's researchers, farmers, landowners, really a different variety of people part of our mission. I invite you to join the next European Mission Soil Week. It will take place on the 12th and 13th November. This time will be in Brussels. Some plenary session will be also web streamed for the people that won't be able to join in person. And these 2 days will include activities, keynote interventions, panel intervention, networking. Then the day after, on the 14th, just for Mission Soil funded projects, there will be an exclusive side event, and all our projects will meet together, really connect more and work on different clusters of activities. So stay tuned. You can check it in our Mission Soil platform. It's our official website. It's a one-stop shop where here you can find all information related to all our other Mission Soil projects. So you can have you can read them all and go to learn more. You can also check who is taking action for soil health. So you have the numbers of the Mission Soil Manifesto and the name of the organizations if you want to connect with them, and all the events that are taking place related to soil research. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm very much looking forward to hear more about this academy. Good luck to everyone. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much, Maria Lucia. Can I just remind anybody that if you've got any questions, it's sometimes a little bit easier if you pop them in the Q&A rather than the chat, because they're just getting a bit lost in the chat. We've got a team of moderators that are working very hard just to zip through them all. But if you could just pop them in the Q&A, they're sometimes a bit easier to pick up. And we are going to, there are a couple of questions, but I think we'll come back to them and have a bit of a Q&A with the panel later. But we're going to move to the first interactive session now of the morning. So I'll hand over to Anna and we'll go from there.
So yes, the idea is for you to have a little bit of a breather as well. So we're going to have just one question for you guys, and I think it's going to be relevant as well for Maria Luisa, hopefully. So I'm going to share my screen now. And I'm going to ask you guys to please answer, how much do you know about the EU soil mission, which I think is going to be interesting and useful for us to make sure that we're addressing it during our academy as well, if need be. So if you could just answer that by going to menti.com and using the screen code, the code that you can see on the top of the screen here, that would be brilliant. And again, it's somewhere between 1 and 5. We're still sort of like a halfway point. So Maria Luisa, well done. That's really good. Especially because a lot of the audience today are not necessarily either from Europe or necessarily involved directly because they're in the UK now. And there's a question, I'm not sure if you know that, Maria Luisa, but is the UK open for this kind of mission as well? Are they allowed to participate in it?
Yes, of course. Any country can apply to Horizon Europe calls. It applies the same conditions for any other calls part of the Horizon Europe program. In this case, they would not be they have the same treatment as a member states, but then there are different conditions, but this doesn't prevent them to participate, and actually they're very welcome.
Super, thank you very much. And a very straight 2.5 percentage of knowledge of the soil mission, so that seems very good. And again, as I've said before, we're going to be sharing more information on the follow-up email, including who to contact to ask any questions that you have about the soil mission. So Caroline, I'm passing it back to you now to continue presentations.
Great, thank you very much. So now we move on to, I'm going to give you a brief introduction to the NBSOIL Academy, just for 5 minutes or so, and then we'll move to Almoena, who's going to talk us through the advanced modules and the co-creation process. So are you able to share the slides, Anna? Great, thank you. So the purpose of the NBSOIL Academy is it's really a 2-year blended learning program. So with the aim of upskilling the next generation of soil advisors, but also supporting existing soil advisors and early soil scientists in their learning program as well. The aim of the Academy is to create an immersive interactive learning experience for all participants. So that we'll touch on what that includes as we go through. And within the scope of the Academy, we're targeting to test over 300 it's going to be tested on over 300 soil advisors in 8 or more countries. And I think we're probably covering those more than 8 countries here this morning, which is great. And it'll be available in 7 languages, including English, Polish, German, Dutch, French, Italian, and Spanish. Next slide, please, Anna. So where does the Soil Academy fit within the wider NBSOIL project? It's really central to the project, so it crosses over with multiple different work packages, and there's lots of linking in between. So as that diagram there shows that how central it is to the overall NBSOIL's project. Next slide, please, Anna. And how the Academy will be delivered. So there'll be online modules, live sessions, and also practical workshops with demonstration events as well. There'll be an overall final project that participants can complete as well once they get to level 3. So as I say, multiple disciplines across the different modules, and I know Almoina is going to detail the individual modules a bit later on. So next slide, please, Anna. So it's just worth bearing in mind that the Academy is not a formal training program. So it doesn't currently hold certification through ECTS basis in the UK or other professional bodies, but it is a prototype and it's offered to participants within a research and innovation project. So it provides potential. The material could potentially be translated into continual professional development options, but that's not currently available. And the participants, so predominantly the audience here today, are co-researchers within the project, and they'll certainly be credited within the NBSOIL certification if they partake in advanced levels and if they complete all the module assessments, and they're contributing to the NBSOIL's co-design and the research activity. And again, it as we've sort of seen this morning, it addresses a lot of the EU soil mission research questions as well. Next slide, please, Anna. So I'm going to hand over to Almoina, who's going to talk us through the Academy Advanced Module Designs, and we're also going to focus a bit on co-creation. So over to you, Almoina.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Almudena Olivas, coming from the company called ITAB in Spain, collaborating partners of this project. Following, I am going to show the agenda of my presentation. First, we are going to see an overview of the advanced model objectives, then some in-depth information about these models, and finally, the model configuration. The creation of this specially learning system has become a priority to ensure the training of these quality experts who will face current and future challenges in the most effective way following the soil health mission in Europe. Based on this need, the NBSOIL project arose, which has promoted the comparison of new information and communication technologies for the training of soil advisors throughout Europe. The tool generated allow access to up-to-date information, simulation, and facilitate communication between students and experts in the field, thus enriching the co-creation learning process. Next slide, Anna, please. Okay. NBSOIL has been based on a research and innovation action that has created this academy prototype based on a 2-year training program composed of an introductory mock and 4 advanced modules related to soil and nature-based solution, living lab facilitations, digital tools for soil health monitoring, and improved soil-related decision-making in business and policy, and a final project. These models will promote an immersive, interactive, and flexible learning experience, combining self-learnings and observational activities with field trips and discussions and participation in multiple collaborative media, both remotely and face-to-face. Next slide, Anna, please.
Almoina, can I just ask you to slow down a little bit? I think this some of us are finding it a little bit hard to follow.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
The attachment module are created through the participatory process, considering existing learning materials and programs, mapping the soil advice ecosystem in the EU, helping to integrate previously formed knowledge and creating channels of communication and collaboration between EU countries and regions. The four modules are: the first advanced module, soil and natural solution, train participants in the design of the soil health strategies based on a combination of the nature-based solution. This program will be adapted to regional conditions, making use of existing knowledge and tools on database. More information about this module we will provide later. The second advanced module, soil health living lab facilitation, will enable training participants to effectively contribute to a coordinated open innovation process. This module contributes to more interactive and effective agricultural and forestry knowledge and innovation system are in place. Soil Health Mission Living Labs, initiated by NBSOIL Academy, first generation of participants, are included in this objective of this module. And the structure of this module will be one of them is the level is co-creation process, understanding living labs, and also implementing living labs. The third advanced module related to digital tools for soil health monitoring and mapping is related to develop the knowledge for soil monitoring. It's intended to be accompanied by multiple data sources, soil sensors, MPK sensors, comparing satellite image, use of drones with multispectral camera, and our objectives is explain the importance and why the use of remote sensing tools to monitor soil and ground health, provide a functional understanding of soil sensors, assist users in selecting in the best sensor and services for their purpose, and how to interpret the data provided by these sensors. Finally, the fourth advanced modules are related to improving soil-related decision making in business and policy. This module has this objective: connected soil health and soil regeneration with economic sustainability, valorization of soil biodiversity, advisory for carbon farming, soil advisory in spatial planning, gains and losses related to soil remediation and soil regeneration and nature-based solution, building and soil advisory and nature-based business. So there's a slide, please. The advanced model will be launched one after the other, but will remain open for the duration of the training. The first one, the module 1, will be launched in this month. The module 2 will be launched in October in this year. The module 3 we will launch in the February on the next year. The module 4 we will launch in May of the next year. And finally, the final project can be realized from October in the next year. Next slide, please. The content of the module will be divided into 3 levels of learnings, each level corresponding to a degree of depth and complexity in the knowledge and skill students are expected to acquire. The following section will especially specify what is the differentiation consist of. For example, as you can see, the level 1 is required more the last effort, and participant asks essential questions, are introduced to the fundamental concept of the academy. The level 2 is requires the completion for a further 4-6 specific exercise. And also the level 3 is for participant undertaking the module challenge, which involves research directly related to the NBSOIL on the main question of the soil missions. And participants will master advanced concept and specialists in the different advanced models. They will be able to solve complex problems related to the soil health assessments. This ensures that all participants know the essential concept for each module to enable collaboration and cross-pollination, and can focus and deepen on it and sectors of their interest. Their certificates of completion will mention this learning pathway. Next slide, please. The common structure proposed for each module is based on the following activities, which are 2 webinars per module, a kickoff webinar, and 1 dedicated to resolving questions and answers via the participant forum, a series of tests on the session concepts that aim to be understood by all participants and should therefore be accessible on all the language proposed in the project. A series of specific exercise that participants can choose according to the sector region on their interest. And finally, the module challenge for the most advanced and dedicated participants in each of these modules. So next slide, please. This is an overview of the academy structure of each webinar, all the levels and also all the modules. And it's important to know that the level 1 content is available in all the language of the project: English, Polish, German, Dutch, French, Italian, and Spanish. The next slide, please. Online learning through platforms such as Moodle has become very relevant in today's education, allowing students to access educational content remotely. This learning modality offers flexibility of schedule, elimination geographical barriers, and facilitation access to education for people from different parts of the world. In addition, online learning fosters autonomy and self-management of time, promoting organizational skills and discipline in students. Therefore, the entire NBSOIL Academy will be implementing on the Moodle platform. Moodle is an open source platform, and it's used by educational institutions, corporations, and other organizations to create and manage online courses efficiently. It is characterized by discussion forums, which are a fundamental tool to encourage participation and collaboration among the students in our academy. And through these forums, the student can ask questions, share ideas, discuss relevant topics, and work in groups virtuality. This promotes mindful learning, where the exchange of knowledge of the quality construction of learning is promoted. The homework and assessment section allows the student to demonstrate their level of understanding and application on the content they have learned. Next slide, please. Yes, here I'm showing an image of what you will find in Moodle. So in the next slide, you can see the course overview. In the next slide, you can see the theoretical concepts of our course, related in this case for the module 1. And in the next slide, you can see some text exercise to assess knowledge. So the platform is currently under developing to be available in this June, but in 21 of June. So that's all for our part. Thank you for your attention. So thanks.
Great, thanks, Almuena. There's just one question that's come through, so I'll just ask it very quickly. Is is only the level 1 content available in different languages, or is this at all levels?
Sorry, because I am off. Only the level 1 content is available in all the language of the project. Only the level 1.
Okay, so
of each module. The level 1 of each module.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you. And now, because we're a little bit short on time, we're just going to go to a quick 10-minute coffee break, and we'll reconvene back. Sorry, Anna, did you want to make that 5 minutes?
Yes, I think that's better so that we can make it on time.
Brilliant. That's great. Thank you very much. So if we come back at 10:15, that would, or 9, it's 10:15 in the UK, it would be 11:15 Central European time. So if we can come back at 15:15, that would be great. Thank you.
In the meantime, feel free to continue using the chat, making any connections you want. And I was going to suggest there was a question about whether we could share the chat afterwards. For GDPR reasons, we're not completely sure. So I would recommend that anybody that you want to contact now, you do it now. It's the one-on-one function is there. And all the interesting links that have been shared on the chat, we're going to be sharing on the follow-up email. So you don't have to worry about those. But if you see someone that you would like to start a conversation with, I would strongly recommend that you do it now rather than at a later date.
Great, it's 1:15 now, so if we're all ready to start again, what we're going to do, we're just going to rejig the agenda slightly in the interest of time, and if we get a chance at the end to come back to the next interactive session, we'll do that. But now I'd like to introduce Vincent from the Centre National Agroecology over in France. And Vincent, you're going to lead us through some detail on Module 1.
Yes, thank you very much. So, yes, I'm from the National Center of Agroecology in France, where we are basically want to massify the deployment of agroecology in our country, and we are involved in several projects, including NBSOIL, and we were leader of this coordination of co-design of Module 1 about soil health and nature-based solution. So the general objective of the course is how to regenerate soils in Europe through the implementation of nature-based solutions. So idea is what are the actionable knowledge, actionable practices we can implement in order to improve soils in the different sectors, agriculture, forest, polyculture, bioremediation, and also urban and in urban and industrial sector. So next slide. I will, because Almudena has well presented how function Moodle, I will make just a focus on the content of this Module 1 in order to let you know what you can learn if you follow this 3 level of Module 1. So first level is something original, so available in 6 languages, as we have precise. It's general. It's a first overview about what are the different nature-based solutions, how we can deal with soil health, and to have first idea how diverse is nature-based solution implementation with a direct impact on soil health. So you can look at the plan and better understand what is behind this first level. It's 15 hours of content for level 1. Level 2, next slide, is more, we go there more in detail. So students are welcome to choose 1 or 2 sectors between agriculture, polyculture, forest, bioremediation and brown green infrastructure, and go in detail in this sector to see how to concretely implement nature-based solution with different case study which are presenting, and we can understand how it's work concretely in different regions of Europe with different approaches. So that is again a more knowledge level where you can go deeper in the comprehension. And level 3, it's a more active level. It's level 2 is 15 hours again, and level 3 is 30 hours of works where you are as student invented to make fictional case study to have reflection about what is the situation in different case and what are the different things you can implement there, and you have feedbacks through different multi-choice questions and scenario-based evolution. And we also proposed with NBSOIL project we invite students to go to demo sites. So there are a network of demo sites through Europe for different sectors, and students are invited to go directly physically to the demo site, or they can also choose, if it's not possible logistically, to go on directly on the field and to make field work, field activities, exercise, and to perform direct soil diagnostic assessment, and also to make some suggestion of implementation of nature-based solution, and also to document existing local and nature-based solution implementation. And these activities, the documentation as the last big exercise of this module 1 could be also published if it's corrected by the NBSOIL team. It can be published in our knowledge hub. So it's also an active process of knowledge creation we want to push here. So also for level 3, we want to have a different way to give feedbacks to the students with direct involvement and also maybe peer evaluation in order to give local feedbacks and to be able to answer to a specific question from students. And next slide. So that is different used from content formats in the module 1. So it's also, as I say, active learning process, and we want also to have, if you want to test as first user of this module 1, to test all the learning materials we offer, and we want to improve it in the next months with all the team based on your feedback. Next slide is just also to thank all the team which is behind this module 1. So it's a co-design process with internal partner of NBSOIL project, but also with external people who have contributed. So we have made an amazing work to provide you this 60 hours of content, and we want to make it available in 2 weeks. It will be launched in Moodle. So that's all from my side, and so thank you for your attention.
That's great. Thanks, Vincent. And there hasn't been any questions come through just yet, but we'll keep an eye and maybe come back at the end. Can I introduce Javier from Revolve? So Revolve are our communications partner in the project. And Javier, you're going to talk us through the Academy registration platform and all the practical information on how to join. Are you there, Javier? Doesn't seem to be on the panel, Anna.
It should be working now.
Okay, great.
I see it's coming.
Ah, perfect.
Thank you. Yes, I was there.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you for raising me from the participants. Okay, so thank you very much. It's really wonderful to see so many participants, so many interests. It has been a long way. I have been personally involved since the beginning, like from the idea and the project preparation, and now I'm working as a project manager with Revolve. So yeah, let's go to the next slide and have a bit of look with some practical tips and some info on what you can expect. Yes. Okay, so very easy. Like how to join. This is already active. This is you go through the NBSOIL website, and then you just need to press the big button and give your data. Next slide. So then we are asking you some information when you enroll, because like our topic is this next generation soil advisors, and we designed the project NBSOIL so it relies, it's very much focused on these nature-based solutions and this nature-based approach. So when we were preparing the project and when we got it, we were wondering which kind of people will we attract, and then we were also even worried, like maybe this is not interesting for existing soil advisors, maybe only for new advisors, maybe there's a big difference in gender, maybe there's a big difference in countries or in sectors, maybe everybody is interested in agriculture and not in the other sectors, which is one of the challenges of the soil mission, to deal with soil health over all these sectors, like Maria Luisa explained. So this is why these questions are very important to help us shape the academy, and we are very happy to show you now some conclusions, because we already have almost 200 participants. We can take our objective is to have 300, so you can still join. Like Vincent said, the module will be open in 2 weeks, so there's still time to join. Please, next slide. So, this is what you will get. You will get a confirmation message from the NBSOIL website, and then eventually you will get an invitation to register and join the Moodle. Please make sure that you also check your spam inbox, because depending on your mail, your configuration, the Moodle message might get to your spam. Sorry about that. And yes, unlike Cordelia, there will also be a follow-up email. Please, the next slide. So from now, almost 200 participants registered. And one thing is, like the soil mission, we wanted to keep open to the world. So there are also quite many participants from beyond Europe, which is great. The only thing is that we are warning that some parts of the content might not be so relevant. The thing is, like, we encourage people still from Europe, and especially from some countries which are still not so represented, like to join. And then for languages, many people include English. We're still translating into all the NBSOIL consortium languages the first level, so it's available. Remember that the academy is also a prototype. So also the idea is that eventually we will deliver recommendations and conclusions for other kinds of trainings, like more official trainings, language-specific trainings, sector-specific, country-specific, etc. So this is a bit the idea, like. So next slide, please. Then regarding gender, we're very happy that it's pretty equal, with a slight male dominance, but really not bad. And then regarding the knowledge, like there's half of, as you can see here, half of participants are aspiring soil advisors, and then the rest is divided between people who are already working as soil advisors, which we think is great, and then some people who are still not sure. This is very relevant, especially once we look into sectors, because another challenge is, like, a soil advisor is kind of defined as a job, and even in some places is kind of a public servant job for agriculture, and sometimes for forestry. For urban and post-industrial sectors, we kind of have to create those roles. They still don't exist. So it's also very difficult to be sure about something that is still not sure. How are you gonna earn your living, and which are your work conditions? But this is also another of the challenges and objectives to help to define these soil advisory roles. Next slide, please. So, and actually that was it. Thank you very much. And please join the academy if you think like taking into account what we said. Like, the idea is also that it's flexible, that the time commitment is kept sensible for people for busy people, for people with work, with families to join, and also to have these field visits to complement. And something that that also to highlight is that the modules are to be completed during the first year with flexibility, and then the idea is hopefully to focus on final projects done preferentially in teams and focusing on a real challenge, which hopefully it can be implemented eventually. Thank you very much.
Great, thanks, Javier. We've had a question come up in the Q&A, which you might be able to answer. And there's a question around what is the payment involved, and can people from West Africa join the Academy?
Yes, like I said, we are open to the world with the disclaimer that some of the content might not be relevant. That also depends very much on the country. For example, if we're talking about Southern Mediterranean countries or Turkey, etc., a lot of it's going to be like similar Mediterranean conditions. There's no payment involved because this is a prototype within a research and innovation project. So all the costs are covered by the Soil Mission, by the Horizon Europe program. It's also not a formal training. So actually, basically what you are is participating as a co-researcher in a research and innovation project.
Great. And that participant was is from Nigeria. So just to clarify, there's no cost to the participant for training, but they're not getting paid to partake in the training. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay, perfect.
We don't have grants, and we don't cover travel costs. Like we will make available like the events and the field visits, but then participants have to travel and cover their costs to go there.
That's great. Thank you. We've just had another question around
login.
Yes, around login.
So the thing is, like the login for the Moodle is not ready yet. You will get a confirmation from the you register through the NBSOIL website and get a confirmation, and then you will get an email from Moodle. If you don't receive it, please check your spam, and otherwise you can write again through the email through the NBSOIL website. But you should also get a follow-up email before the Moodle login arrives with more details. Is that correct?
Great, thank you very much. And there was just, and this may be applicable for the panel, for all the panel, but Iona had asked a question and we have sort of answered it in the chat, but I did, because it's come up once or twice, around the importance of local knowledge about soil health and how we know there's a sort of a knowledge gap of potentially 2 generations. So how do we, through the Academy, how do we anticipate participants bringing that local knowledge or getting that local knowledge to benefit participants? So Grzegorz, you may want to kind of chip in on that, or Vincent?
Yes, so for local knowledge, if I understood correctly, we want to, based on the network of experts we have inside the project, we want to provide specific local knowledge for each place of Europe. So we are focused on Europe, not on the full world, but and then people have to make transfer if they want between Europe regions and other regions of the world. And for us, it's already a big challenge. So we have made a climate-based overview of different parts of Europe. So we have Atlantic, we have Mediterranean, Alpine, etc. As geographical region where we have some similarity based on the climate to manage things. And we have also specific per country knowledge because we know that there are specific regulations, specific also socioeconomic aspects per country. So we will also add this specific per country knowledge for the participant of the platform.
Yeah, I wanted to add to what Vincent is saying that module 1, which is Vincent is leading, and it's the first one to open, is the one that is more climate and region specific about soil health and nature-based solutions. The second module, for example, the one that Soil Association is preparing and will be leading, is focused on field labs methodology. So it can be applied potentially anywhere in the world. Of course, you have to take into account language, but the basics they can be interesting. And like Almudena said, because she's also leading the third module, which is dealing with digital tools, which is even easier to apply. Like you can even participate and you can check data and work completely remotely. And then the last model is about business models, which is also is also context specific, but some principles are the same. And then the policy that will be again quite focused on Europe, starting with the common agricultural policy, the soil health monitoring law, and so on. But sometimes this is also relevant for trade and for the impact that the European Union as a big trading bloc has on other countries.
Great, thanks, Javier. There's just a follow-up question as regards those that are wanting to join the Academy outside Europe, and I know, Javier, you've responded to it in the chat, but again, I just thought I'd mention it, that so if you're sort of outside the partner countries or you're outside the EU, then if you can fund travel to join, then that's great. If you're unable to, then there's obviously, as Javier's pointed out, there's the opportunity to get all of the main content online with the webinars, etc. And there'll be some online discussions as well. So that's great. And let me just double check.
And maybe something also to clarify is that the kind of the learning pathway is totally flexible. So you can stay on the level 1 for all modules, or you can go much deeper in one module. So for example, it's also totally possible that you focus more on the one with digital tools because you are working from far away. But for the final projects, the idea is to cooperate and to complement skills. And I didn't show the data because that's a bit not to make it too long, but we also have by now a lot of very amazing combinations of skills and resources. Also, we are asking about if you have already contact with farmer networks and communities, etc. So that's the idea, that you can bring that.
Great, thanks, Javier. And there's just a couple of questions. I think maybe there's a few, one or two people that were late joining, so they missed your answer just regarding they've already registered but haven't. They've already registered to the Academy but haven't received confirmation or next step. So can you just repeat that answer for me?
To be honest, if you register to the Academy, you should have received the confirmation email from the NBSOIL website. That's the one that I saw on my screen.
Okay, great.
Sorry, if they've not received it, what would you suggest are the next steps to make sure that they can go, or who should they connect with to get that registration?
Well, by now the website is there by Revolve, so you can ask you can write to the contact, the communication contact in the website, or I would even suggest just to register again, just in case. But it should be working. But as we know, there are always technical problems.
Great, thanks. There'll be sort of in the follow-up to this event this morning, there'll be a we're going to send out the presentation deck and everything, so there'll be contacts on there if people have got any further issues. But as Javier says, it may just be worth registering again. There's a question on the Q&A around if a team wants to join, do they go under one name or do they have to register as individuals? So if you've got a team within the same organization.
Well, we are considering register participants as individuals. What is wonderful is to have already a team for the final project.
Okay, great. And another question is, will there be live sessions online where students can interact and ask questions with tutors, or level 1 and 2 be only online modules where you study on your own?
Yes, I mean maybe you can answer that, because we are already preparing a module. Like the idea is to have 2 live webinars per module. This is kind of special because it's also like the beginning of the whole academy, but we should also have a specific module 1 a webinar.
Yes, we will have this specific. So there are room for direct question and answer with this webinar, and for level 1 and level 2, it's more yes, direct online works for sure, but maybe I don't remember if there are forum for exchange between students, and if there are questions. So I think you have for level 1 and level 2, if you have direct question, you have this forum, and we will be glad to answer to the question you have. And level 3, there are more specific feedbacks planned depending on sector. Directly feedbacks to the participants, which will be given in level 3. So forum is planned. Forum will be available in the Moodle platform.
Perfect, thanks, Vincent. Anna, do you have any feedback on module 2?
No, module 2, a little bit along the lines of what Vincent was saying. The early stages are going to be just have 2 opportunities where we can connect to each other, but mostly on modules 2 and 3, that's where you're going to, and levels 2 and 3, that's where you're going to have a lot of interaction, especially on the third one. Third one, especially for Living Labs, is going to be all around co-creation, working together and polishing their ideas together rather than having to work online. But I think that an important aspect of all modules here is that it's going to be very dependent on the topic. There's topics that are better suited to be worked online on your own time. Others really require you to work on co-creation levels. So it's also going to be very dependent on the topics that you choose and what level of engagement you want to do. A little bit like Javier was saying, if you want to be a little bit on the top, you can probably find a reason. If you really want to engage, we're also going to be available to answer questions and engage a little bit more if that's something that people need.
Great, thank you. And there's another question around will assignments and essays, or will assignments such as essays or literature reviews, will there be, assignments such as essays or literature reviews, and will there be personalized feedback on those from tutors?
At least in the Living Labs one, there will be a little bit around that, but they won't be super, super long during levels 1 and 2. For level 3, which is the one where Javier mentioned, we're going to be trying to connect more of the other things. That's going to have a longer document at the very end. Rather than a literature review, it's more a presentation or a plan actually for a Living Lab. But again, we're trying to keep them a bit concise to make sure that as many people as possible can actually participate in the academy. If we go too in depth, that means that we have to limit the amount of people that can join us because there's only a few of us that can actually be answering and reviewing the information. So despite the fact that there will be some written things, especially for module 2, I would imagine, they will be contained and pretty short.
Great. Thanks, Anna. And there's a question from Jenna as regards, is there a microscopy session? Are there any microscopy sessions? Jenna, I don't know if you want to expand on that, if you're there, or if there's anybody in the panel that can answer that question.
Give me 2 seconds to allow her to talk. If you want to move to the next one.
Yeah, I'll move that to the next one. And then, yeah, Ida, just on your question around, can you join outside of Europe? Yes, you can join the academy. But as Javier was saying, it's obviously depend your level of involvement as regards some of the in-person sessions and the traveling to trial sites and demonstration sites may be quite limited, as that part isn't funded through the project. Yeah, Jenna's just saying, are we looking, is there any modules that are looking at soils via microscope? She's just clarified that question. So Vincent, are you doing any I can't say the word this morning, apologies.
Microscope, let me help
you.
Microscopic.
Are you covering any of that in module 1 at all?
Microscope? I don't get the point, sorry.
Are you covering within module 1? Are you looking at? Is there anything in that module on looking at soils through microscope? Thank you, Cordelia.
That there are microscope is not. We want in module 1 more propose some real pragmatic tools to diagnostic soil, so really easy to use, so based on really simple things available for everyone, so that is a type of tools we are promoting. And in module 3 we are more promoting digital tools, but also I will say technology tools to assess soil quality, like satellites, like spectrometry. So you will learn more about that there. And microscopy and biology is not a big topic where we focused on deeply. It's a choice made by the project to go more in simple, easy to use tools, and digital tools are also yet easy to use, like satellite data, accessible for everyone without any additional cost for the user.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Vincent. Melissa's asking if there's a way, any advice available for setting up living labs, but I'm sure we're going to cover that in great detail in module 2, aren't we, Anna?
Sorry, that was a bit patchy. What was the question again?
It was around, from Melissa, around are we going to cover the setting, how to set up living labs?
Yeah, for module 2, everything that has to do with living labs, we're going to start in module 1, setting the basis around what co-creation is, providing our examples, and then a little bit about living labs. But modules 2 and 3 are going to be very specific around what is a living lab and how to set one up, with examples, lots of very practical examples, but also spaces where you can talk to other people who either are doing it or are trying to do it and answering their questions. So those are a little bit more prone to webinars, for example, along the lines that someone else was asking.
Okay, perfect. And I think Javier is answering the question now on is there a community within Moodle that individuals can have a personal profile? But I believe there is. But I think Javier is just answering that one. So I think we've covered most of the questions that have come through the Q&A. Do we want to do just a quick interactive session to round off, Anna, just for the last 5 minutes?
I've seen that some people are answering the interactive questions, so that's great, because that means that we can already get people excited about answering because they have competition. So the first question, again, going back to menti.com and using that the code that you can see up there, but I cannot see because everything is over there. There we go. So the code again is 18688538. You just go there. And let us know what would be your reasons for joining the NBSOIL Academy. This would be very useful as well to make sure that we shape it a little bit according to what you would like, what you would need, and make sure that we're trying to address some of your requests when working on it. If there's any specific topics, if there's anything around connecting with other people, we can make sure that we tweak it a little bit to try to address your questions. So if you could just answer there, feel free. And we'll probably about 2 minutes. So if it's that you're interested in soil, if you want to connect with other people from different parts of Europe or the world for practical purposes, and if there's any topics that you think would be relevant to you, just let us know. I see some really interesting things there around how to deal with soil degradation, professional development, making sure that we contribute to soil literacy and sort of like help. And I think that that's part of the really interesting thing about this academy. By going through it, you can not only learn about soil, but about how to teach or learn about soil, which I think is a really relevant set of skills to have nowadays. Academic advancement, really important. Making sure that you can work with soil scientists, that's really interesting. Just loving soils and soils networking, which seems fair enough for me. That's great to have a space where you can actually talk about things that you really like that you couldn't possibly talk during a dinner. So lots of really, really interesting questions here. You can continue answering them and move around. We're going to leave this open for people to continue answering it afterwards if you can think of anything. But I think that what would be really interesting for us is to learn a little bit about the next question, which is whether you're planning to joining. So if you could start answering this, that would be great. And the beauty of you answering now is that we can have an idea of numbers, whether you're sure, if you need any more information. But Carolyn, as people are answering, I'm just going to leave this running in the background. But if you wanted to go ahead and go through the next steps, that'd be brilliant. And that'll give us plenty of healthy time to finish on time.
Perfect. Thanks, Anna. So in the follow-up to this webinar, you'll just keep an eye on your emails because we'll email to all registered participants that have attended this morning. There'll be a slide deck which will have the slides that you've seen this morning. There'll be a list of contact details for all the panelists. And as Anna's pointed out, unfortunately, we can't copy the chat over due to GDPR, but what we are cordially is going to very kindly build a resource deck from all the websites and projects that have been shared this morning from everybody. So we'll be able to send that out as well. If you've got a chance to, if there's any sort of email addresses that are in the chat that you're with people that you're wanting to connect with, then copy and paste them now just before we finish. But yeah, if you haven't already signed up for the Academy, then please do. And if you've got any problems with registering, then there'll be contact details for Revolve on the registration page, I believe. So yeah, it's exciting, and we'll look forward to the next stage. But thank you. Can I just thank our panelists for attending this morning? Thank you for the team in the background for moderating chat, Q&As, and most of all, thank you very much for the participants that have joined us this morning. I think we've had just over 100 on this morning, which is absolutely amazing. And apologies for the technical malfunction on my part first thing, but we got there in the end, and we're finishing slightly earlier. So
yeah. Well done. And again, just to reiterate, because some people are asking, just to reiterate, the recording will be available. So if you think of someone that might be interested in it, or if you want to share the information about the NBSOIL Academy, please feel free to.
Yes. And thank you very much. And also to emphasize again that you are the new generation soil advisors, and then the content and the activities we propose in the academy is just like the space and the starting point. So the most important thing is what you do with it, how you collaborate, and what else you bring. So if we cannot cover everything, but yeah, if you're bringing in microscopy biostimulants, seaweed as a source of organic fertilizer, that's what makes it really interesting.
That's great. Thanks, Javier. So yeah, once again, thank you very much for all attending, and we'll follow up in the next day or so. So have a great day.